In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to turn the recordings you've done in Logic into a proper score. So what we do is, the first thing we need to do is prepare those in the arrange window. What we need to do is move them all over so that they're close to the beginning of the song. So I want everything to start from bar 1, so I just selected them all, dragged them over. Also the beginnings and the ends of these all need to be at the appropriate point. So if I drag that very left hand side of that region over and that region as well, and then at the very end I need to grab the bottom right corner so that I can do that, drag that to the end. If I grab the top right, that will be the looping function, but I wanted to do it just changing the length of the region. Okay, so now we've got those all at the same length. Everything is starting from bar 1. I can select all of them by clicking in a blank part and dragging up, or if I had nothing selected I can choose Start A or Command A on the Mac, and that will select everything. Now we go up to Window, Score, and we can open that up in our score window. Right, okay, so there's a few things we need to do to get it looking right. I think the first thing is, if we want to see it in a page view, we click on that button there. See, that's just next, just to the left of the layout button. We click on that. Okay, and that will bring it up in the way that's going to look when we print it out. What we should do first, I think, is to get rid of these titles, turn them into the appropriate staff names. Okay, so this Bosendorfer Piano Club was actually the sound I first had, but actually I've now got it as an alto saxophone. So what we do is we go into the second part of this layout menu, Score Sets. We open that. You can see here we've got the full names. These are the names that are shown up. So rather than Bosendorfer, I need to write alto sax. Okay, that changes that. Same thing here, we don't need the full name, we just need to say bass. And here we change it to drums. So we type those in. While we're here, it's also a good time to look at whether we should perhaps scale it down. Not such a problem with this piece, but sometimes with a larger piece you can end up with like 50 pages if you're not careful. So if I'm going to put that down to 70%, for instance, that just makes everything smaller. It will make it much easier to fit everything onto the page. So now that we've done that, we've changed our names of our instruments and we've scaled that to 70%. That should now be looking just how we want it. The other things that we should do is to get the right stave for each instrument. Okay, now the alto saxophone, it's a transposing instrument, so we need to select that. We go over here at the top. If you can't see this, check that maybe that hasn't been minimized. It's a little triangle there, we'll open that up. And we go Style, instead of treble, we go down to alto saxophone. Okay, now that's in the correct key for the saxophone. The bass, that's already chosen the bass clef, so that's suitable. And this drum part that I've got in here, that's showing it in a bass clef. That should actually be a proper drum tabulature. So I go down to the very bottom and there's this thing that says drums. Okay, now that's looking the way it should for a drum player. The other things we need to add in is a title, composer. We would like to have a metronome mark to say how fast the piece is going to be played, and those parts are all over here in the part box. So there's a whole range of things you can add in. There's the text one there where the A is, so if I drag that up to the top, drop it in there, type in summertime, and then go enter or return, and that will put it there. In the same way, we should put a title in here, sorry, a composer in, and that's me, the composer. Well, in fact, the composer for this one, let's get it right, his name is Gershwin. That was his surname, George Gershwin, so we'll put that up there. If you want to identify the fact this is actually your piece, I think what you would probably do is you'd put it over here and, drag that text up to here on the left, and what you can do is say ARR : me. That means you were the arranger. Of course, me, you'd put your own name in there. Okay, so that's that. You can put in dynamics. You simply drag them up to where you want to put them. If they don't go in the right position, just move it up or down. And the other one we want is our crotchet equals. So we click on that tab, choose the crotchet equals, drag it up to the top, and there we go. That's now got put crotchet equals 110 beats per minute. The final step is we want to print this, so we go to the logic print file. We're going to go through the first page setup, basically just check that it's A4 paper, it's the right way round, and then you go OK to that, and that brings up some different options on your Mac. The best thing to do at this point is to go PDF, open PDF in preview, and as you'll see, that then brings it up in a window where you can see exactly what it's going to look like when you print it. From here we can now go save, and we'll be able to save a copy of that as a PDF, and that's what you would send for your teachers to be able to mark. Okay, so that's the steps you need to do. I'm just going to go closing out of those, come back to our logic window, have another look at that score there. In fact, once it's already been opened, you'll find it down here. It's our piano roll, and here's our score.